Oh, one more thing.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Word Vomit Podcast, a podcast where we talk about video games, music. Whoa, wait a minute. What was that?
And echoes.
And echoes. Nice. Comic books, television, streaming. I am Vitamin E Man, the stubborn SOB. With me on the show, Randy Kings, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, hey, hey.
And ladies and germs, we've got Sean Vander. And we're recording from our respective places because that shelter ordinance is still in place. So if you guys like what you're listening to, remember, we're doing this absolutely free, but we would love it if you liked, shared, subscribed. And if you're watching us on YouTube, ring the bell so that you get notified of all new videos.
Give
guys,
us a thumbs up too.
What is up?
We're now on day 20-something in the shelter in place, and
Has it only been about 20-something days?
I don't know, I'm guessing. Well, because it was the end of, officially it was the end of March when it happened, right?
No, they talked about it a little, at least for California. California, I know, jumped on it beforehand than anybody else. I think they did it around, I want to say, the 16th of March. So, yeah, about a month.
Man,
A little over a month, yeah.
I don't know what you guys are. I don't know, man. Because I've always had to go to work like there was no problem, and then things were like.
Well,
hey,
I mean, they put the ordinance up, and then they were just like, okay, now we're going to start talking about essential businesses, and I think yours is an essential business. So.
Oh, it absolutely, totally is.
It is. It is.
Well, and also, for me, it's I can work remotely.
Yeah, a lot of people were able to do that as well.
Like, it's not like I'm not working. I'm not having a vacation at home. I'm still working.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
But in like 12 hours, they're trying to figure some stuff out. So
I got to ask you something there, Randy Kings. How is it working from home? Because I've always heard like there's people that like it, but there's also people that are a little frustrated because it's easier to get distracted.
It can be, but I have a whole routine. I do, people will, you will see on the news, people who don't only get dressed from the waist up when they're doing Zoom meetings.
Oh, yeah.
I do my complete routine the same way. I get up, I, do my morning stuff, brush my teeth, get dressed, walk my dog, come back, make breakfast for my son, get things going for Lupe because she's still working. She actually is leaving the house to go to work still. She's doing her live like Zoom or remote teaching, but from the classroom at her school.
Oh, so she still goes to the school.
She does go to school. So like not a lot has changed. It's just that I can't go out to, sometimes Ronan wants to go out and do something. I'm like, well, we can't do a lot, buddy. Whatever is around the house is what we got to do.
Yeah.
But, I have a separate workspace I work in and whatnot. So.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess for anybody who's listening to the show and works from home, that's probably a really good idea. Set up a routine and just stick to it. That's probably going to be the best way of doing it.
It's been a pain in the ass from like my sister.
Yeah, what does she do?
She's been working from home, but she's got two kids that have to also do through school, and it's a pain in the ass. Well, right now they're in summer vacation, so they
early summer vacation.
It's spring break. Sorry. And they're not doing anything. So video games and cartoons for those kids. But when school starts.
Oh, man. No, we made a schedule. Well, rather, Lupe made a schedule for Ronan to go by. So he has it's not just him on the iPad or on the Switch. He actually has like short.
I got to say, man, I was super happy whenever I got the summer vacation because sometimes television channels would anticipate it so that they would get particular early morning cartoons. And that's how I was introduced to Ronin Warriors.
Oh, man. Powers in the Armor.
Yeah.
Anime.
Dao-Chi. Like, that was my jam when I was a little kid. And then this was at a time when I was living in the South Bay. And then when I moved to the East Bay, and then finding out that a lot of the friends that I ended up making were also really big fans of it was a lot of fun, too. Nice. So I was just like, yes, this is awesome.
Weren't the Ferber swords from Ronin Warriors so badass?
They were amazing.
They're great swords.
Actually really good too. The thing that got me though is that I wanted that series, but I can just never pick it up. And a friend of mine ended up giving me, like, they're all new copies he got as a promotional gift. Every volume on DVD, which is awesome. Except for volume 1. I'm like, son of a bitch! The first one, with the first 4 episodes. And apparently that's like the hardest one to come by at the time. Like, they didn't produce a lot. So I'm like, okay, so I have the entire series except for like the first 4 episodes. Like, yeah.
Damn.
It's like,
those first 4 episodes are great too.
That really sets the tone.
It does.
Especially when they got like, was it Ryo gets his butt kicked by like a regular soldier because he's a rookie, he doesn't know what's going on, and he gets
Yeah.
like equivalent to a Foot Clan member.
It wasn't, but didn't that ninja have Anubis's weapon anyways, which is probably what was giving him the power up?
A little bit, but still, he got schooled, and it's like, oh man, this is crazy. He didn't just step over these guys. But yeah,
That was an awesome show right there.
powers.
Good stuff.
You know, they never made a video game based off of that.
I know, right?
I thought they did.
I don't
Like,
think-
there's got to be something on the Super Famicom somewhere, right?
I'm gonna look that up right now.
All right.
What you got? See if there's a video game based on that.
Because if there is, just LP it. We can.
I'm gonna find it.
Yeah. Do it.
Do it now.
Yeah.
Are you guys still playing Final Fantasy VII Remake? Are you guys...
Absolutely.
Well,
Okay.
I own it.
I mentioned this before. Now I own it too. I'm like, oh hey, I got one.
Well, I mean, if we're getting into our weeks, then we're getting into our weeks. But do we really want to start with me?
Well, we didn't say anything about that, but,
Okay.
but
All
I
right,
mean,
so right now I'm looking up a video to see if this is Ronin Warriors. I don't think it is.
Oh, the video game?
Well, because it's titled Ronin Warriors, a Ronin Warrior, but I don't think it's what I think it is.
All right. Okay. I mean,
Yeah, I don't.
you figured there would be a like a wiki for that, so it's explaining, hey, this is this. Is there anything else? Okay, nothing referenced. Yeah, nothing referenced on their wiki page, which they
so there's no video game.
And their Wikipedia page, not just their wiki. It doesn't say anything about a video game because usually it'll say like other media. And the only thing that I'm seeing right now is just talking about the music for their opening and the plot and like links to the individual characters themselves. So I feel like that was a missed opportunity right there. Like Bandai Namco, like why didn't you guys make a video game out of this?
Why didn't Bandai Namco make a video game out of this?
I mean, is it too late to make one now? I mean, granted, the series was from 1988 to 89.
Yes.
Relaunched, why not?
Oh, man.
Make a beat 'em up out of it. Make it right. The game makes itself.
It'd be like Dynasty Warriors. That's
Oh,
like,
even better.
Oh, that would be rad.
that's all you gotta do.
You know, okay, so I'll say this right now. I wasn't a big fan of the Dynasty Warrior series in itself, but when they got together with other franchises and made something out of those, they did a lot of research on those and a lot of work. So, like, the perfect example is Hyrule Warriors. Like, when they had the whole formula to it, but at the same time also utilizing all the items that you can get in the game. Like, the Fire Rod would have a special ability, and you can actually team it up with the sword to do really cool attacks. I was like, dude, this is rad. This is awesome.
And then just added new characters and whatnot. You're like, I would never think I could play as Fee, but like whatever. And then Linkle's dope, but yeah, I get you.
Again,
Yeah, you know, I mean, like missed opportunity, man.
Yeah.
Opportunity. But
missed opportunity there.
Oh well,
I
I
guess
mean,
it comes down to who owns the rights to this. So
It says it was
Bandai.
licensed by Discotech Media. Whoever that is.
I don't know.
they're like, we should have made video games. Not video games. That's just a fad. No one cares about that.
I know, right?
Fire
Like,
that man.
like, who would have thought that video games would be where they are right now? I mean, we're talking about
Fire
it on a
that man.
podcast now.
Yeah, fire that man. Okay, cool.
Why would you need to do that?
All right, so I feel like, you know what, we kind of jumped on this really quick, but I want to check in on you guys really quick. How about you guys this week so far?
Work has gotten worse. Oh man, it's been so busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has. I mean, I want to play Final Fantasy VII, and last night I had the chance. And
A little closer to the mic, sir.
I was working on a video for Word Vomit Productions, and that was cool. And
Actually, Sean, you're coming in really low.
am I?
Yeah.
Oh, news to me. But we've been having audio problems, so yeah.
There we go.
All right, there we go.
There it is.
All right, sorry. Yeah, no, we've been having we've been having a huge volume at work, and then I was working on videos for Word Vomit Productions, which was cool, and you expect more content there. But when I finished all of that, I'm like, I want to play Final Fantasy VII, but I'm like, for my stream, I gotta prep to play Soul Calibur. So
I saw
I
you.
went to the lab on Soul Calibur.
One was it? Did you get the round or did you get the match? 1 out of 50 that you mentioned.
So real quick, I'm sorry, more of a technical difficulty, but Randy, I'm noticing that when one person talks and you try to talk, you don't come in at all.
Yeah,
Well,
we're having Zoom troubles.
Oh, fun times.
Joy.
that's
You
how
could be talking.
he works. You gotta be careful when you're talking over each other.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
as far as when you come through, you sound good, but when it comes down to like conversation going back and forth, so just so that you're aware of it, want to make sure that you knew, because I know like I said, we're trying to work this out, ladies and gentlemen, and there's little quirks here and there that we got to figure out. But,
Right when we hit record, too.
Yeah, but just so that everybody's aware.
Yeah, we could do that with me and Emmanuel, but I don't know. Whatever.
So back to your day, Sean. So getting ready for Soul Calibur.
So I just went to the lab on Soul Calibur, and I had some had people in the chat do a clip of me winning a game and whatnot, and it's pretty fun. But the guy I'm playing has played Soul Calibur, man, all his life. All right. Look, the dude, like, he's the only guy when there is, let's say you go to a convention and there's Soul Calibur on like the Dreamcast playing in a corner somewhere.
That's where he is.
And there's a crowd of people playing. He could go up to that crowd the minute he gets onto the controller, and he will thin the crowd in 20 minutes. Nobody will play him. And it'll be like, damn. Or they'll try and just get squashed. And it's horrible. He's like, oh, I'm not that good. We have video evidence of him just completely killing at a convention, and people are just like, what the hell do we do? We were just playing a friendly game of Soul Calibur, and this asshole had to come in here.
And then it became not so friendly.
Yeah, and just destroy us. And he's friendly about it. He's like, well, come on, dude. And I'm playing him, and he's like, hey, Soul Calibur, it's great. Come on, Sean, you can play Soul Calibur. And like, I remember how to play Soul Calibur. But because of him now, I'm going to the lab in Soul Calibur, and when I'm able to get like rounds and wins, it's a victory. So when you see my stream at Vander978 at twitch.tv, I'm very animated.
It's very much that you've earned those victories, which is why they're that
Absolutely.
more. They're a lot sweeter because you actually had a claw and fight for it.
Yeah, and last night I went to the lab on it a little more because I'm prepping for another stream today, or like right after this. A friend of ours is out of state, and they got a 3-hour time difference with us, and she wanted to play against us, and I'm like, all right, cool. So so right after this, I'm gonna be streaming at Vander978 at twitch.tv.
Right on.
And yeah, we're gonna be doing that.
Cool. Randy, how's the week treated you, man?
Just another week at home. Like I mentioned before, I picked up I got Final Fantasy VII Remake, was able to pick up a physical copy, deluxe edition, which I was like, oh, cool. And I didn't have to pay anything extra for it. Loaded it up. I got the DLC with it even. I was like, all right.
I have the suspicion that Randy carries the luck up materia, and it's a mastered materia.
Yeah, it's in his butt.
Hey.
It's in his butt.
Who told you that?
Well, because I can't find the materia hanging off a keychain, a necklace, an earring, or whatever.
Actually, keep it tucked in, real tight, so
Real tight in his butt.
No, not there. But
I love how I tried to start it as a lighthearted joke about the video game, and then it went up to putting things up people's butts.
Yep.
I don't know where that materia is.
That's what this podcast is all about, ladies and gentlemen.
I wanted to use the steel materia to get it from Randy, but it's too hard. Maybe I didn't practice that I didn't. There's not enough in that materia to do it. I guess I don't know.
But yeah, I picked that up, and then I'm finalizing the order. I'm actually gonna pick up those physical editions of the limited run games release of Panzer Dragoon,
All right.
and then Streets of Rage 4. I'm gonna pick up those as well, and especially since they announced the release date, which I'm excited.
We'll be talking about that in a little bit too.
But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I ordered that. It's like, okay, I can afford to do this. Okay, do I want to buy more? Don't buy every one. Don't. Do I want to get both versions? Do I want to like? No, it's okay. Maybe.
All
I don't.
right.
We'll see. I can still order more. So
Right
it's like,
on.
but yeah, pick that up, and then watched what was it? There's a movie I watched on Netflix that I didn't know was even a thing, and it's actually really well made. Is Stephen Amell did it with his cousin called Code 8, and it's a really good action movie series. It's kind of like in the vein of like if we were in a world where like mutants or powered people existed and how they would be treated in this country. Like, oh shit, this is actually really well done, and it's one of those things where I'm like, why the hell this is not in theaters? I don't know why.
Cool.
Netflix got that exclusivity, is why.
Well,
Yeah.
apparently it was a whole thing where Stephen Amell produced this movie using crowdfunding sources to get money for it, and it doesn't look cheap at all. Like the production value is super high. Like
Cool.
I'm not even saying like, oh, good for TV. No, like high value. Like, holy crap, how they get the money for this? Oh, people put money into it, which is cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I opened up well, Ronan, my son, noticed that I had a bunch of Lego sets in my office that have not been built, and he asked if he could build one. It's an Avengers 1 set, and that I told him he needs to behave and do some chores, and he did all this stuff for like an entire week, and now he built one thing. He got excited because he has a Hulk minifig now, even though it's not actually a really big figure considering. But yeah, that's what I'm doing with him, building Legos.
All right.
Nice.
Well, I'm glad everything's going well, both work wise and being able to pick up video games as well. Sweet deal. Speaking of, you just mentioned it right now. I'm sorry, Sean. We got to move it on.
Yeah.
But you're right. Streets of Rage finally does have a release date, and I actually pulled up the very last trailer that they're going to have, I think, where they also announce it. So you guys want to do like a reaction video really quick since we're already here?
Yeah, and I did have a question about that. What
What's up?
version are we getting? Is that like we're gonna need like a PC or a PlayStation 4?
Are you saying in the sense of like us in general, or like what they're releasing it on?
Well, because let's be fair, there's no way we're not gonna LP Streets of Rage.
It was on the list.
We are going to LP Streets of Rage.
It's gonna get played. We're gonna.
You know what? And I hope he's listening to this podcast. I was actually going to reach out to Rob Rega because he's friend of the show, but he's also a really big Streets of Rage fan as well. And it is up to 4 players, so I would like to get 4 players on the screen.
Yeah, and how would we pull that off? Is it going to be PS4 or PC so we can LP that? Because I would love a Word Vomit Productions like beat down on some Streets of Rage, like all cooperatively. That would be great.
I guess it'd have to be the easiest one would be PC, right?
Actually,
yeah.
PS4 would be the easiest one because everybody has that.
Here we go.
Are you guys ready for this?
Hell yeah, let's go.
Let's do this.
Do it. Well, unmute it. There you go.
Do you put with the audio on?
Yeah.
I can?
Yeah, when you do the share, you can pick with the audio.
Oh, see, now you're going to have to redo this all over
No.
again. Oh, no.
Well, we thought this was going to happen because we knew the last time we tried this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, this looks really good.
It does look really good.
Oh, man. I didn't think it would look as good with the original sprites,
But they did a good job, right?
Yeah, they did.
hot.
Oh, this looks... It's very... Well, when we're watching this, it's looking kind of like sketch right now, but...
I mean, we're streaming this in there, so...
Yeah, that's true. So, like... Oh, Adam, come here.
And I think that's why I'm going to play as Adam, because he has like a mini powered geyser.
You had Axel. All right, fine. Whatever.
There we go.
All right. It looks really
yeah,
good.
you can share with audio, like...
Yeah, I didn't do it, admittedly.
Oh well.
But-
Okay.
When you do the share on the window, there's a thing that says share computer sound.
Okay, good to know.
Still
But-
learning Zoom.
It looks really good. Like I didn't think it was going to be as hot as it was, and I was a little concerned by the animation or the art style, but it looks great. And then the fact that they added the original designs is pretty hot too.
Yeah.
From
that
from,
looks
from
really
what it
good.
looks like, part 1, 2, and 3, depending on who was on what.
I mean, I didn't think. I mean, we played that Streets of Rage remake, the fan one that was originally supposed to be like the original. It was a new sequel that didn't get finalized, and they just released it. I thought that was amazing, and all the stuff they did in there.
Do you
This
think?
hot.
Do you guys think that when that was released, because we know that Sega did the cease and desist on that, and then they just ended up releasing it for free. Do you think that kind of lit a fire under Sega to possibly come out with a new one, or do you think that they were already in the process of making one?
I mean,
Fire.
I think actually, I don't think it was that game per se. I think it's all these other titles coming out.
That too.
When the Streets of Rage Online came out, that was actually several years ago now, and it's one of those things where the retro scene wasn't necessarily as big as it is now. Like
Yeah.
there's a ton of retro games out now of all different styles, from the rogue, the Metroidvania style to platformers, and like there's a ton of beat 'em ups out there now. There's like
Man, yeah. And you don't want to be like, it's like, dude, look, Sega, do we have to do your job for you? Do we have to do your job for you?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, they kind of did. You remember Sonic Mania?
also that game again, Streets of Rage Online, the remake that we played, was originally going to be one, but it just they couldn't they ended it because they didn't think they were going to make any money on it.
By the way,
Yeah.
you were right. It says as of right now, it was like a 2011 title, the Streets of Rage Online.
Years ago, and Sega was a different.
Boy.
So we could say, oh, they could have made tons of money. We don't know that. You don't know that at
Yeah. We don't. Technically, we don't. But
all. At all.
But you also don't want your fans to be like, look, this is what we want, and we're doing it for you. So it's like,
Well, I
egg
don't
on your face, guys. Come on.
know if it's egg on their face because the remake wasn't a hot sell, because I didn't know about it until a friend of mine told me about it like several years after it was released.
Well, yeah, then that's a marketing issue. Or
Well-
like, oh shit, like this is out. Oh god, this is amazing.
And then, it comes down to is, would you pay money for that? It was a free game. Would I have paid like $30 for the game? Probably not. $10 maybe.
For online, I think I'd go like 15, $20.
I'm with Emmanuel on that. Yeah. That would have been an easy 15, $20 you could have made. Done.
Well, no, see, it would have been $6 they would have made on that.
Right, because all the side stuff, everybody's got to get a piece here and there.
Whatever platform they're going
I
to go
suppose.
cut. It's not. Steam is not doing these things out of the goodness of their own heart. They take a
No. They don't.
they take a pretty big cut of that. So, but yeah, no, I mean, we could argue all day long that they should have done this years ago. I'm like, oh, I don't know if we had the technology to enjoy it. Also, I think the Switch is probably going to be the hottest one.
You think so?
I think
Ooh, yeah, probably.
sell the most because it fits so well on that console. Beat 'em ups on the Switch work really well.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
And it's like, oh, you can play it on the go. You can play with your friends. You immediately already have multiplayer availability to you because it comes with 2 controllers.
Tiny controllers, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
A lot, a lot for that couch co-op. But
Yes.
I don't know, but I'm excited to see it. That's a game where I am getting the digital one. I'm not sure which platform I'll get it on first.
Did they release a price point for just the download? Because I know that they released the collector's edition stuff for like 35 and $60, but like it comes with the art books and the Sega Genesis box.
That's limited run games. That's a physical version. It's not
Right.
that. I'm guessing it's gonna be like maybe. Is it maybe 29? I don't know. Does Steam have a price yet?
I'll look it up on my end too.
All right, yeah, do that. We need to focus on that so we can actually collaborate an LP, all 3 of us, when that comes in. And
According to IGN,
okay,
it's gonna be coming out.
Share it.
Yeah, one sec. It's
All
gonna
right,
be coming
cool.
out on the 30th, and it's gonna go for $24.99.
I think that's about right.
Yeah, okay. You got my money.
Right over here.
Yeah,
Street
no, you
Stage
got
4,
my money.
the long-awaited sequel to the classic side-scrolling beat-em-up series, will be released on April 30th for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch. It will cost $24.99 United States dollar. UK and Australia price is not available at the time, and will also launch straight onto Xbox Game Pass.
Oh wow. They got that.
Okay.
You know what? If that's going to be the case, I don't think we'll be able to get Rob Ray on here because I think he has the Game Pass,
Oh,
And-
yeah, okay.
and I don't have an Xbox
Uh,
One, and I don't think Sean does either.
I have one. Yeah.
Why would I want?
Well,
an
then you
Xbox
and Rob
One?
Reagan could let's play it and have all the fun you want.
You might.
Wouldn't
Fantasy
it just be better to get it on PC or something then?
PS
No.
is on Xbox One now, and it's supposed to be really good. So that's a reason to get an Xbox One.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like Fantasy Star Online. All right. Okay.
Oh yeah, no.
Is that what you said? You
I said-
you blacked out there. I couldn't
said
hear that.
yes,
Yeah,
I-
I know you're right. It is.
Fantasy Star Online is out. Like it got released. I think was that a week ago.
It did.
Yeah, actually, I know Rob Reagan jumped on that one too. He's a big Fantasy Star fan.
Mm.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm super excited about it. We got to see like all the characters are going to be essentially coming back in some sort of return. I'm wondering what the story's going to be like. Is Mr. X back, or is it like a new crime syndicate finally?
They just need to clean up the streets.
Streets of Rage.
Reynolds style. Yeah. I love it. Let's do it. I mean, you got cops dispensing justice with rocket launchers and Corvette squad cars. Hell yeah.
I wonder,
Hell yeah.
I wonder if they should just have every other beat 'em up protagonist to show up, like the end of Endgame. Like you're gonna get the police officers from Narc show up. You're gonna get the Lee brothers from Double Dragon showing up. It's gonna be like, yeah, everyone just come on in. They're all just gonna roll in.
Painting a beautiful picture, Randy.
I don't know
That's
if you
what
guys
you're doing right
if,
now.
if you guys watched the video prior to this, because there was the other one where it actually showed the retro characters, and also you can set it up for the retro sound. Which personally, I think it sounds better with the retro sound than the new mixes, but that's just me. But it also looks like the older sprites also got functional remakes. So, for instance, Shiva, when he has his what's he call it? It's his special attack, the one that drains power. Apparently, he can do it like twice before he slams the character down.
Yeah.
And Skate, when you do his regular special where he does the windmill almost. I know it's not the windmill, but it's almost like it. But now it actually moves across the screen.
Okay, so it's not just them doing it; it's them actually moving around.
Right. I don't know if you guys even saw in that last video, but there's a video where not Axel, Max, his regular was where he would just like clamp his hands and just spin in a cyclone. Now it looks like he grabs them and he grabs the opponent and he spins them around
That's awesome.
as he's doing it. So everybody got, even if it's just reusing the sprites, they got functionality changes as well. So yeah, I'm Megan.
Okay.
I'm telling you guys, we've time traveled back to the 90s.
Good.
I mean, my God.
Well, I mean, not really.
Resident Evil, Final Fantasy, Streets of Rage. We're in the 90s again.
I mean, there's gonna be a point where I'm gonna be at home playing Streets of Rage 4, with a bunch of Hot Pockets ready to go and Tostino's pizza rolls. I'm like, yeah, it's like 1998 all over again.
Here we go again.
Well, if that be the case, then wrestling would have gotten a lot better, which that's far from the truth right now.
I don't know, man. AEW, man.
No, I say it's getting better. Not necessarily.
Well, yeah, you're right. AEW.
Not necessarily sensing like the big cheese of wrestling, but like all the other stuff that's coming out because of it. Like we got MLW, Major League Wrestling, New Japan really stepped it up,
Oh yeah.
and as Randy just mentioned, AEW,
AEW, hot fire.
the
And
elite, be the elite.
I was trying to say that for a segue so we can get into this topics, but I mean, let's see. I don't know. It just didn't work out. I tried for a segue.
Yeah, you see what happens? See? Shame on
It's
you,
what
sir.
you get for fucking trying, Sean.
Yes.
No, it's what you get for mentioning that you're trying.
You remember what Vince Lombardi said? If you lose, you're out of the family.
By the way, don't
All
lose.
right. Okay, so honestly, I'll be honest with our audiences. I didn't really want to bring this one up, but I I kind of got vetoed on this one. So I respect my co-hosts, and they felt like they wanted to talk about it. We're going to go all the way with it.
A little mention.
All right.
Just a mention. So earlier this week, WWE was considered an essential business, believe it or not, in Florida.
Okay,
Was
we got
So they let me finish. So they're able to continue to show episodes, record at the Performance Center down in Florida, and then the day after it got deemed that, unfortunately, a bunch of wrestlers got their future endeavored, is what I like to call it. They got their future endeavors. Some wrestlers didn't surprise me because it was one of those things where I can tell like these wrestlers were unhappy. Other ones were kind of like, oh, wow, they really went that way, huh? And it's just like, oh, it's a bummer. Like if you look online, there's actually a lot of those wrestlers who released videos like talking about how they're dealing with it, what's going to happen next. The one that I'm super excited about is EC3 because EC3 is not sad. He is using it to kind of like rebuild himself so that when whatever's going on right now, because again, I want to try to avoid putting it out there all too often. When that calms down and people are able to get back to work and independent contractors are able to get back to work, I feel like he's going to use this experience to launch himself to a new character. He's going to rebrand himself. So he's doing really well with it. But there are other wrestlers that oh man, they were crushed. Drake Maverick, he released a video, and it's like it's become a meme almost. Like everywhere you look, and if someone's talking about this particular subject, they're putting up the picture of a teary-eyed Drake Maverick.
Yeah,
He is absolutely heartbroken about this. The good news is that while he has been let go, he will be able to perform one last time under the NXT brand because they're doing this cruiserweight tournament to crown the new cruiserweight champion. So he's going to at least be able to, if anything, he gets a bit of a swan song. Like that's his last goodbye before he goes. Not everybody else was able to get something like that.
Well, someone posted it because Rusev was also released, which I feel like he was wasted there because he's such a good big guy and should have gotten way more opportunities than he did. And he's so talented, especially when they did the whole Rusev Day thing.
Naturally created, by the way.
He started that. Well, not he, but fans started that for him. But the last image they have of him, I think, was one of the other pay-per-views where he's sad because the kayfabe being his wife leaves him for what's his face. But it's like the image is so like, oh, that's so shitty looking. Like that can't be the last time you see him wrestle. But that's how it happens in that business.
Well, it's like I was saying, there's people who ended up getting let go that I wasn't surprised at. If anybody who follows the rap sheets for wrestling. His wife Lana did sign a new contract, but Rusev didn't. Like Rusev,
he didn't. He wanted to. From my understanding, it's not a thing that he's not super. I mean, he's bummed not working anymore, but he wasn't happy being there. He's one of those.
Right.
He doesn't like it. And from my understanding, he's also very supportive of his wife doing what.
Good.
Yeah.
Like people had to ask, are they really divorced? I'm like, no. It's part of the story, man. They're doing his thing and. Not happening, but yeah.
Give it time, though.
Sometimes that works out. Sometimes they don't.
I hate to say it.
Thanks for putting that out into the universe, Sean Vander.
You know, like Terry Runnels lost. She's been married, remarried, and all that and whatnot. And it's tough when you're on the road for so long.
They're not on the road at all now. So
well, yeah. Well, now that's the case. That's crazy. They were their COVID-19.
Damn it, Sean.
Handled. Sorry.
Say it, dude.
I was reading the thing and went, "Oh, okay, yeah." That sucks.
Remind me to throw a banana at you the next time I see you.
Well, in either case, the whole thing though is that because when I read that, I'm like, oh wait, they're an essential business. Oh, meaning they can still operate with minimal amount of personnel on location and cannot be open to the public. So it's not like people can do. It's one of those things like, oh yeah, like I can technically go to the office if there's like less than 6 people there. I'm like, all right, go. But yeah, the people they let go. Okay. Not surprised by, but we can see I'm sharing on a list here. People,
right? Yeah. So the list is, good Lord, Lou Gallows and Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Drake Maverick, Kurt Hawkins, EC3, ouch. Low Rush, okay. Heath
Leo.
Slater, ow. Aiden English and Eric Young.
See,
They got rid of Eric Young?
So this is a funny thing. This is how we know
What?
that Sean didn't really watch WWE. He got like 3 of the names
No.
wrong.
Yes, he,
All right.
but Zach,
I know. I recognize a few of these guys, though. Okay. This Shane Helms. Oh, really?
Okay, so
he's
let,
part of the background staff, though.
Yeah.
So,
but,
okay.
all right.
let me tell you which ones I wasn't surprised with and the ones that I were surprised
Okay,
with. Okay.
please enlighten me because I
Okay.
don't watch WWE anymore.
So, Kurt Angle, I was surprised
Yeah.
That would
because he was a backstage agent and he recently just started. I think he's only been in the position for 4 months. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, I was surprised
Wow.
because they just signed a 5-year contract. So when they let him go, that surprised me. Let's see, Drake Maverick, surprised. Kurt Hawkins, I wasn't surprised.
No,
really.
No.
he's trying to make a comeback, and he had him they had him team up again with Zack Ryder. So they're a whole team, but it wasn't really picking up steam, and they're all for this other focus.
And you know what? They got a WrestleMania moment out of that. They won the tag team titles at WrestleMania.
He became tag team champions at WrestleMania, which was really
So,
dope.
yeah. EC3 wasn't surprised.
Really?
Not a good
Yeah,
talent, but it's
He's crazy talented though.
he is. He
Yeah.
absolutely is. But I wasn't surprised.
I don't have a place for him.
Leo, well, there's a story behind that, but we'll get into that another time. Leo Rush, I was kind of surprised. I know that when he got the call up to Raw, he got like very arrogant, and then like he became very unhappy. And then like he came back, and it looked like he came back with the renewed vigor, but I felt like he was still kind of like on the row. Heath Slater, wasn't surprised. He was.
Because he's fun as fuck.
He just wasn't somebody that was utilized. Aiden English, wasn't surprised. I know that he was a commentator for 205 Live, but even then 205 Live's kind of gotten a little bit of a brush aside more so than usual.
Okay.
And Eric Young also was not surprised. And I felt that they dropped the ball on that one because Sanity.
Eric Young is
Man,
great.
Sanity. Whew.
Sanity on
Yeah.
NXT was amazing. And then when they transferred over to SmackDown, they just bumbled it.
Hard when you're a big group because they try to recapture what the Wyatt family was. Essentially, they're trying to not necessarily exactly like them, but they want to get that same. They want that same transition, and it's just hard to do that when you get to a bigger audience.
Zack Ryder, wasn't surprised because again, kind of like what they were doing with Kurt Hawkins, not somebody that was very much utilized.
Honestly, I love to hate Zack Ryder, to be honest, but he is crazy talented. If I have to admit.
You know it. Sarah Logan, wasn't really surprised, but
No
truth be
way,
told,
Jose.
Aww.
No, I wasn't surprised. Eric Wowen, I was a little surprised because they were trying to give him a push and then they squashed it. And then immediately after the squash, that's when they let him go. So a little surprised with that one. And then Primo and Epico, totally saw that one coming. Like,
Okay.
I mean, they were still employed. They haven't done anything with WWE and they were still employed. So as far as a cost-cutting measure, I understand it. Mike and Maria Kanellis, kind of surprised. I know that Maria had signed the 5-year because they were just trying to hold on to it. I know Mike was trying to get out of the contract because he just wasn't wrestling and he wanted to wrestle and they just weren't letting him wrestle. And then No Way Jose kind of saw it because it was just enhancement talent.
Yeah. He's
Damn.
And then as far as the producers, Lance Storm, Shane Helms, and Fit Finley, I don't know who got what because I know one of them got let go and I know that other ones got furloughed.
Which essentially means well, you might as well just go now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the furloughed in the sense of if we can get you back, we'll get you back.
Yeah.
But
I guarantee.
yeah. So
IRS.
yeah. So so check this out, ladies and gentlemen. And then this will be the final thing about this.
Okay.
If you want to help these wrestlers or any other wrestlers that you like, always check out if they have their own personal pages to see if there's like a Patreon that they have set up. You can check out 24-hour tees because some wrestlers actually sell their own t-shirt merches, and 24-hour tees is awesome. They've actually done a really good job with it. Because more money goes to the actual talent. Like 24-hour tees does take its little cut because they're using their platform, but more money goes to the actual wrestlers than if you were to actually buy the shirt at an event. And because they're not like clothing from like WWE, for instance, it's like their own unique ideas from the wrestlers themselves. So you get some really cool merch out of that. Other wrestlers are like doing autographs that you can buy. You can do that as well. Just check out the pages, see what they got, see if they have their own personal page, see if they have their own Patreon, see if they have their own stores, check out 24-hour tees. That's the best way that you can actually support these wrestlers right now. If you were a fan of them, check that out. Check out if they have any other shows. Like I know Luke and Carl have their own podcast.
Cool.
Which actually went to #1 in the sports section of podcasting. Like after they got let go,
really?
the last episode they got went to #1.
Good for that.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so definitely check them out. That's like the best way that you can help these wrestlers out, especially during this time. And if you can't do it financially, a share takes 2 seconds. Share, enter, put it out there for anybody else to see.
Yeah, okay. Damn. That
Crazy,
sucks.
right?
That is crazy, man. That sucks for those guys. I mean, and I'm not a big WWE fan anymore. Just because of things.
You're not a fan of the WWE, but you are a fan of the wrestlers themselves.
I love wrestling. And if I can even catch it anymore because I work so damn much. But, yeah, if I go to a wrestling show or you see something on like line or whatnot, I pay attention to it.
Okay. Last little thing before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show, what I like to call it, the main course. Sam Raimi has confirmed that he is involved with Doctor Strange 2.
And if you didn't see that coming a mile away, then you're blind, I suppose.
Well, we have official confirmation now.
Okay.
So Sam came out and said like he is working on it or he is involved with it. And if you guys recall, this one is going to be considered a horror movie.
Cool.
Which I'm really excited about because I want to see what they do. And if you're going to get anybody to work on it that's a horror movie fanatic, it's definitely got to be Sam Raimi.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah. I mean, there's not that many people I can think of that do that genre so well. Especially in his own style. Like he definitely can pull this off.
There are directors that use his style for their stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, he set a whole trend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's funny because I think about it. I'm like, oh, you mean that guy who made Xena and Hercules: The Legendary Journeys? Yeah. Also,
Absolutely.
Hold up. Like, wow.
Okay, so there was an article. I didn't read it, but the headline was the perfect question that I have for you guys. Will Marvel, this iteration of Marvel, not Sony Marvel, but Marvel, help Sam Raimi get out of the comic book funk? Because after Spider-Man 3, I don't think any movie studios that were working on comic book characters even considered Sam Raimi, despite Spider-Man 2 being an incredible movie. Spider-Man 3, unfortunately, kind of...
Yeah.
So do you think with...
I don't know if that is Sam Raimi's fault, though, is it?
Well, let me finish the question. Do you think with the backing of Marvel, and if this becomes successful, Sam Raimi might be able to work on more comic book-based movies? Because he is an admitted comic book fan. And clearly we got to see it with the Spider-Man movies. You know what? Let's start with Randy Kings on this one.
Yes, please.
I don't know if it's a funk that he's been... I don't think it's anything that's him putting it on there. I'm pretty certain that he still has enough clout to go, hey, I want to work on this. Will you consider me? Like, and someone might go, no. I mean, granted, he hasn't had a lot of successes on properties that don't belong to him per se, but, he's also been doing a lot of other projects, like producing a lot. He got the Evil Dead TV series off the ground. He was also he was the producer for the It was it. Yeah, I believe he was one of the executive producers for the Spartacus Stars series.
That was an awesome
So
show.
it's one of those things where I don't think it's necessarily it's a situation where he needs to prove himself and he needs to have this. I think he can get it whether he wants to. It's whether or not he's gonna feel good in the project he's in. It's kind of like how like ooh, Tim Burton, he's amazing, but he also did make Planet of the Apes, which is not a good movie, and that was totally his project. And it's one of those things where it may not have worked out, and that might be the case with Sam Raimi on some of the things he's worked on that weren't his.
All
Oh
right.
my god. It is his fault.
Talking about
Shit.
are you talking about Spider-Man 3?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is and it isn't. Sony really wanted Venom in the movie, and he did
And
not.
he didn't want Venom in the
No,
movie. That's
and he got
right.
people in there, and they had, and that was late into production that they wanted Venom in, or late enough to where it's an issue with the story. It's like, oh, okay, we're just gonna. That's why Venom feels shoehorned in. But yeah. I would arguably say it's almost always the person who's in charge's fault, in the sense that.
Ah, damn.
Which,
I remember being so pissed off at that too.
yeah, but maybe they shouldn't have done
It
it.
is his fault.
I mean,
Okay, well, now because of what Sean just said, and I want to direct this towards Randy because unfortunately, Randy, you keep getting cut off, so I want to make sure you get your say on this.
Sorry, yeah.
Sean is saying that it's his fault, but do you think that if he said no, we're going to go off of my vision, we're just going to keep it as Sandman and Green Goblin #2? Do you think that Sony would have kicked him off the project or like not work on any more future projects because he's quote unquote difficult to work with?
I mean, if the movie was successful, hell no, they would have said, "Oh, so we're gonna do Venom now," and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, we'll do Venom now because it's not gonna be shoehorned in. It'll be all good." Maybe we wouldn't have had that stupid dance sequence.
Although I do love how they made fun of that in Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love that suit though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not talking the Spider-Man suit, the suit that Peter was walking around.
Really?
I like the suit. It looks nice.
Yeah, the suit that he actually walked out of the store with is a nice suit.
Hella nice looking. I'm like, dang, I kind of want that. Now him dancing around doing the.
Him dancing in it? No.
No, none of that. No, okay. For people out there who are not watching the video, I did do my interpretation of that dance.
Okay, so
So try to imagine Bart Simpson as a stripper in The Simpsons, and he's just bang, bang, bang with his guns and everything.
fat.
More me
More
to
me love, baby. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Randy.
okay. Don't worry about it.
All right, so you know what? While Randy was answering these questions, Sean looked like he wanted to give his answer right away. So first, go ahead, Sean. The first part of the question was, because it is a two-parter, do you think that if Doctor Strange is successful, more companies would be willing to give their comic book property to Sam Raimi to make a movie with?
Well, okay. See, here's the thing. See, Sony Marvel, they trust nobody. All they want is a gajillion dollars. Now, Marvel, which I guess is in turn is Disney Marvel. Disney Marvel will give a director like some leeway if they trust him, and they do trust Sam Raimi. Let's be fair; they're gonna trust him.
They don't
So,
trust Sam. What's his name? Man, I had his name and then I lost it. Please
Oh.
continue.
Okay, so I think everything's gonna be fine in that regard. A horror-based like Doctor Strange, that sounds cool. Let's just see how it works. And you do have the right guy to do it. Sam Raimi, he knows his ish. And as for Spider-Man 3, I mean, I could see how that's just a hard situation. So if he was like, look, I've already set up Sandman and like second Green Goblin to be the villains, and you want me to shoehorn in Venom, a character I'm not a real big fan of, into the movie, the product's gonna suffer. And in Sony Marvel, there's gonna be like, no, you're gonna add you're gonna add Venom in there, mofo. That's what's gonna happen. And then yeah.
So the question for that was, if he said no and he stuck to his guns, and as Randy said it, like, you know what, if he came back and he said like, I'll do it for Spider-Man 4, do you think they would have kicked him off the project right there and then?
Yes.
You think they would have kicked him out, even though most of the movie had already been created under him? You think they would have kicked him off?
I think they would have kicked him off, given another director a shot at it, and he would have just Bumble Kinged through whatever the script had, and they would have added Venom, and it wouldn't be. It might be worse, and it would have been an even worse film. But Sam Raimi would have been like, see, motherfucker, maybe you should have a little bit of faith.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I think probably would have happened, and then they would have gotten Bumble King director to do Venom, and probably, I don't know. By that point, I'm sure that franchise was more than dead, so it's what it is now.
Yeah. All right. My quick response to it is, Randy hit it on the mark. When it comes down to projects that belong to Sam Raimi, he's gonna make it flourish, and it's gonna be beautiful, and we're all gonna enjoy it. That was the guy who created horror comedy. Like, in a time where people were trying to make horror as gory and as scary as possible, he's all like, you know what would be funny? If we did this, and we got the Evil Dead and Army of Darkness out of that, So if it's his properties, he's going to do well. I also think that he respects other properties enough to where he's not going to want to tarnish or ruin it in any way, sense, or form. I think that if he stuck to his guns, I'm leaning more towards what Randy said. If he stuck to his guns and the movie came out and it did wonders in the box office, then regardless of whatever Sony would have thought, like, that was a dick move, but we made hella money. Okay, fine. Let him do what he needs to do. Honestly, I don't think, if I'm being honest, I don't think he was as tarnished as people made it believe after Spider-Man 3 as far as working on other ones. But I think he also had plans of his own, like Spartacus. That was an incredible show. Some people have even compared it to Game of Thrones. I'll leave that to the audience. I'll let them check it out themselves. But for 4 seasons of Spartacus, it got crazy. So okay. I could totally see that. I don't think that it would have hampered it. I think depending on the direction that it would have gone in, I think movie studios would have gone up to him with certain characters because they know that what he can do with whether it was digital or practical effects or storytelling. He's a very, very incredible director. So just because he had that slip up with Spider-Man, I don't think would have been ruined it for anything else.
I do remember cursing his name after Spider-Man 3. I will admit that.
I remember wanting to curse his name after seeing it, but I had lost my voice and I could not talk. Remember that? We watched it with Sean. We watched it at IMAX, and I couldn't say anything because I lost my voice. And I remember being really upset, and I just couldn't do anything.
I remember being upset because I've seen Peter Parker Spider-Man cry more than... Yeah, that. And I'm like, man, fuck. I'm like, God damn it. And you fucked up Venom. How do you fuck up Venom?
I mean, it's because they put it in late. They hired Topher Grace to be the part.
I remember there was like that rumor that they were going to get Brock Lesnar to do it.
I think Eddie Brock does leg day, so I don't think they should hire Brock Lesnar. I'm just pointing that out. He doesn't do leg day, so look at it.
Okay. So what do you guys think? Anyone who's watching us on YouTube or listening to us via podcast, are you excited that Sam Raimi is going to be working on the new Doctor Strange movie? I know he's a fan of it, so I think he's going to do it justice, but were you expecting anybody else? Are you excited? Are you familiar with who the hell Sam Raimi even is? Did you watch Evil Dead? Let us know.
Who the hell is Sam Raimi?
Yeah, right?
Wow. Pay attention.
What's Evil Dead?
Well.
So Randy brought this to our attention as far as things that we can talk about, and I think it's actually this will be a lot of fun. So James Gunn tweeted out a movie of movie sequels that did better than the original. So if you want to look that up,
the contingent is that they're the second movie only. Like, people have brought up, like they're naming like the third iteration of this. It's like no, second one only. Let me see if I can share this.
So what I was thinking that we can do is we can name off what we think did a lot better on the second one. Depending on what it is, and I'll leave it up to you guys. Do you guys think that we can also go to possibly the third?
I mean, I actually like that it's a limit of, like how he put the limit on the sequel on the second.
Okay.
And I also want to talk about, like, what's funny is that there's also movies out there that have sequels that did so much, that did amazing better, like the list that's on here now that we're sharing. Although some of them I disagree with, like Toy Story 2, I don't know if I can't decide whether or not that's better than the first one. But
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. It feels weird to me because I'm like, I really love that first movie. But they also, the idea that there are sequels that, like, I'm not necessarily killed the franchise, but it was why did they make this movie?
Agreed.
Like, why?
Agreed.
Why did Highlander 2 turn out to be such a terrible film? Oh,
Yeah.
that's why. Crow 2, why do you exist?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go off of James Gunn's really quick.
Which is a pretty good list. I mean, it's a strong list, though.
Toy Story 2, Godfather 2, Spider-Man 2, Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call New Orleans.
I know that was a movie.
New Orleans, man.
No, both work. Evil Dead 2,
Hey, Sam Raimi.
Shrek 2. Yeah, we were talking about it just a second ago. The Dark Knight, Bride of Frankenstein, Hellboy 2, Golden Army, one of my faves. Road Warrior for a few dollars more, Paddington 2, X2, and Empire Strikes Back.
That's a
Okay,
list.
can
That's a
you?
strong list.
All right, explain to me what Paddington 2 is. Is that Paddington Bear 2?
Yes, there is a. If you remember, folks out there, and Sean, there is a live action version of Paddington Bear. They call it Paddington, and they made a sequel, which is actually really good. I have seen both movies, and they are very good, very well made.
It doesn't like Paddington Bear 2. It's like, all right, Toy Story, cool. Godfather, Spider-Man, Evil Dead, Dark Knight, Paddington Bear. You know?
It's one of those ones you're like, wait, really? I mean, he's including all these, like, they're kid films in there as well, like Shrek 2 made.
Yeah, Shrek 2 and whatnot. I get it.
Like Wrath of Khan, Superman 2, Batman Returns, Gremlins 2, Blade 2, Legend of the Drunken Master, which I don't know if that is really a sequel. I always thought it was like kind of a more of a remake.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. That's debatable.
Well, okay, so here's the thing with that, because that could be said for Evil Dead also.
Yeah, that's why I was actually going to mention that, because Evil Dead 1 was more of a serious horror movie, because that's what he was going for. The comedy wasn't found until Evil Dead 2, which is kind of just a remake of the first one.
Well, because from my understanding, what ended up happening is whatever studio ended up releasing the first one had ownership of that universe.
Yeah.
So Sam Raimi, when he made part 2, while borrowing heavily emphasis on part 1, was also its own essential universe.
Yeah. But yeah, Desperado, and there's movies here I forget that are sequels. Like I forget Desperado is a sequel to El Mariachi.
Yeah.
What the hell's Magnum Force?
Magnum Force, from my recollection, I believe that's a Chuck Norris film. So
Okay.
that's a sequel to
That sounds about right.
that's a
Sure.
anything he's ever done. I could be wrong. I mean, I guess I should look that up. But then there's also Captain America: Winter Soldier. I mean, that's an amazing movie. But I just like that he puts in an arguable fact: Alien and Aliens are equal. Anyway, yeah, I can see that. They're two different style films, and I love them equally.
And I thought I put Terminator 2 on this list. It belongs.
Yes, Terminator 2. I mean, Terminator 2, I think that wins out because the effects are a lot better. Like when you see the Terminator in the endoskeleton at the end of the first movie, it does not look great. I mean, they tried their damnedest for what it is, but when it came out, it's amazing, but it does not hold up well. Terminator 2, on the other hand, still holds up great because they made practical effects. It looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a funny list. I looked at this, I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. And it made me think of, like, are there other sequels that I really enjoy? Like, if you look further down, he even talks about, what was it? Where is it? Paddington 2. Okay, you mentioned that. Terminator was in there. Wrath of Khan. I'm trying to think, what was he was talking about? Where someone talks about Scream 2 for sure, and James Gunn's response is that you are incredibly lovable and awesome on the circle, but your take on Scream movies need a little work. And like some of the people at him like Grease 2, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot there's a Grease 2, and then his response is just like, nope, disappointed face. But yeah, some of these movies.
I almost feel like we're going to start seeing that meme where, remember the guy who's at the table and it's just like, it says something and change my mind?
Yeah. Oh yeah, change my mind with it. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to start seeing some of those on here with James Gunn sitting on it.
So Adam's Family Values, which I'm going to have to agree with.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
Okay.
So we have our movie sets and it seems like it's a really good setup. But we're a podcast where we talk about other stuff such as video games and comics and whatnot. So I'd like to open up the forum for video games that we think have the same effect, where maybe the first one was good, but the second one was clearly the superior.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that, but it's also one of those things where I mean, there's also a lot that just didn't work out.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start us off with clearly like the most known as far as our podcast is concerned, because I'm pretty sure other people are like, no, it's this. I'm going to say Street Fighter 2.
Oh yeah,
Perfect.
Street Fighter 2 definitely the better sequel.
Like the de facto game when it comes down to like the sequel being better than the first, because let's be perfectly honest, who in this day and age ever talks about Street Fighter 1?
I was trying to explain that game to my wife because when I mentioned this list and talked about the subject we're talking about, the Street Fighter 1 was a fighting game that wasn't like how Street Fighter 2 is. You had my version I saw in the arcade was it was a big machine that had a joystick and then two large buttons that were punch and kick, and then you had to hit them. And however hard you hit them, that's what your degree of strength was. So it's like, huh? Like, imagine trying to do like a fireball quarter circle forward and then hitting the punch button as hard as you can so you can do that. It is not, it's not great. The art style also, it's like, ooh. But then this is also like many years ago.
Yeah, so that's by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that's Birdie right there.
Oh, man.
So when Birdie first started out, Birdie was a white guy before he was reintroduced in Street Fighter Alpha as a black guy.
Yeah. They changed it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could be a different Birdie. I always thought it was, but I mean,
The same guy's named Birdie.
there's a different dude named Birdie.
Yeah. They fought for the name. And then
Sure.
and the Birdie that we know and love was the one that actually won it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he perfect.
So there it is. Like that's what it started out as.
Ryu. Woo. Ooh, Ryu. Why?
And there's that one. Oh, that one's tiny, but so yeah, nobody really talks about this. Whenever anybody starts with like the actual following of the video game history, not the story mode, but like the video game's history, everyone starts off on Street Fighter 2 because that's where it really took off.
Yeah.
So as far as a title that did better than its predecessor, just putting that on the list right now, Street Fighter 2.
Oh yeah, no, easily better, easily better. You got one, Sean? You know, can you think of a second game of a franchise that's obviously superior than the first one?
Resident Evil 2.
Oh,
It's a good choice.
Good call on that one, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Those ones not were.
Let me go ahead and
Stop it. We don't use Zoom. I promise.
Randy, do you want to break the bad news to him?
I mean,
Yeah, we use Zoom. I know.
Buddy, we're going to have to talk after the show. I got some bad news for you.
What?
We use Zoom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I got that. I'm aware. You screen shared the Zoom thing, but whatever. It's fine. All right. Yeah, Resident Evil 2.
Like the way he's responding, it's like I kicked his puppy.
A little bit.
what is it about Resident Evil 2 that you think is so much better than the original?
Sorry, I'm a little tired. Well, I mean, let's be real. Resident Evil 1, fantastic horror game, right? Absolutely fantastic with the great camera angles, freaks you out, and even when the remake, I actually like the remakes a lot better than a little bit of the originals. I don't know why I said a little bit. Sorry.
A lot of it.
A lot of it. They don't really emphasize the camera angles in the remake of Resident Evil 2, though, which is kind of weird. Because in the remake of Resident Evil 1, you get the camera angle where you're at the stairs and it'll look you down the hall and everything. And you're like, oh, it's so creepy. You see the candles and the lighting, and it was a lighting effects. Like, it was just so good, so good. Resident Evil 2, you don't get that much. Still a really great game. Adding Mr. X in the remakes just makes it even better, especially now that I'm starting to really love Mr. X a lot more after playing Nemesis and going, oh God, why? You could have done better with Nemesis. But all right, whatever, because like things. But
because reasons.
yeah. And it felt like the story was bigger in Resident Evil 2. It felt like the colors were better in Resident Evil 2. I want to say the guns I feel were better in Resident Evil 2, but I'm probably smoking crack even thinking that.
I just thought you smoked crack in general.
No, I don't smoke crack. Meth is a hell of a drug.
Those are two different things.
All right.
That's what he's saying. He doesn't do
I
crack.
don't
He
know.
does meth.
But yeah, whatever.
Hey, man, you're the one who put it out there, okay?
I'm too tired to even let it. Just whatever. But yeah,
It's
Resident
like,
Evil 2.
Moving on. Let's just move on.
I'm tired.
Randy Kings, what do you think?
As far as my game that I think is better than the original,
Yes.
I'm probably gonna go with I'm gonna go with the newer franchise, Uncharted 2. Uncharted 2 is an amazing game. It took everything that was in part 1 and just made it so much more. It was actually one of the few games where I played it and I got into the intro where he's on the train and all this stuff happens, and I didn't even realize that it was no longer I guess the cutscene or whatnot, that now I have to control him or else he's gonna fall off.
Hmm.
And I just thought it was so well done. And and what gets me is that that game franchise continued with the third one, and the third one is still good, just not as good as the second one. And it's one of those hard things where I'm like, yeah, man, Uncharted 2 did so well.
Well, the idea of what a sequel is supposed to be is that it's actually supposed to be better than its predecessor. Whatever part 1 set up for the foundation of, part 2 needs to expand and upgrade on that one to go moving forward.
Yeah.
When done correctly, we have conversations like this where we can say, like, this came out so much better. I'll put out one more. If you guys can think of one more too, that's awesome. I'm going to say Soul Calibur.
Oh yeah,
Because if you recall, there was actually a Soul Blades for the PlayStation. We've talked about it before on the show. And admittedly, there's a couple of things that I really wish they would have ported over. They did it later on down the line. But I think with Soul Blades, when they had the weapons, like the different weapons and the storybooks of every character, I thought that was awesome. But then when Soul Calibur came out, and it was just like a major upgrade of everything that they did. They took things out that didn't work out quite as well. I guess that they thought they didn't work out quite as well. And even though, personally, I wish they would have kept them in there, was still an excellent title. They got to expand more on the characters and their move list. Everyone got like new introductions. What is up with this guy?
I know. It looks like calling in his own farts.
Yeah.
I had to answer the phone, so sorry. It was a thing. I had to step away.
So yeah, Soul Calibur. Gonna say game that did better than its predecessor, Soul Blades.
You know what's amazing about that is that Soul Calibur in the arcade is actually not better than the home version because they made the Dreamcast one, and it's actually visually and I believe control-wise
having flashbacks.
Cleaner game.
Sorry.
It's a cleaner game on the Dreamcast, the home experience. It's like, oh yeah. That was a good one, though. Good choice. Good choice. Soul Calibur definitely better than the original.
Soul Calibur flashbacks. Sorry. Training last night. Oh, God. Good. Go ahead.
I think Sean's going to need a second. So, Randy, if you've got another title.
Yes, please.
I mean, let's see. Game sequels that were better. You know, I always go back to this game, but it's one of those ones where it's hard because it's technically not a real sequel, but it's like, oh, well, like it's the second one for me, which was because on original NES they had the Team NT game, and then they had the Team NT the arcade, or I think it was Team NT 2 the arcade, and that is, at least on the home experience, a better experience than the first one. Because in the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that game on NES is not great. It's not, it's not a great representation of what the Ninja Turtles were. The movement was really slow. Everyone keeps getting killed when they're trying to swim to defuse the bombs. It's not a fun experience. Yeah, that face of it. But then they released the arcade because it was a port, or it was an attempt at the porting over the arcade version at home, and it's exactly what you'd want it to be from a Ninja Turtles game. You had the fun catchphrases they would say, whole little intro, the not great audio because it's on an NES cartridge, but it's still a fun game. I loved it. I love playing that game still, and beginning to play as the Ninja Turtles had the intro music, which was dope, super important. So yeah. Good old.
I beat the original Nintendo.
Did you
Ninja
really?
Turtles.
I have, and it's not fun though. It's like one of those things where this is not a fun experience. This is really crappy.
I will never fucking do it again in my life. Oh, god damn it.
There's a reason why that game, that formula doesn't exist in the games anymore.
Oh,
Arcade now,
Jesus.
based on the arcade version.
There's a little fun fact about that actually. The MS-DOS version of the game was impossible to beat.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That doesn't shock me.
Not in the sense because of the game's difficulty, but in one of the sewer pipes, when you're going through, they actually shrunk a platform, and it was impossible to make that jump. So because you couldn't make that jump, you couldn't progress past that point in the game.
Dick move.
So you couldn't beat the game. So basically, you couldn't even go to the water level for the bombs at that point. You know, like you got stuck at the beginning.
Delete it and get rid of it.
Pretty much.
That's what you do. That's what happens.
That's what happens.
That
Yeah.
game. I'm never playing that game ever again. I beat it once and I threw it out the fucking window.
Did you really?
Oh boy, I'm so mad. So mad.
Well,
That game took 5 years of my life.
then you should be glad to know that a
I
sequel,
was 10,
that is-
but
There is
still.
a sequel that's better than the original.
Yes.
Yes. Sean, do you have another game?
I lost my train of thought after Ninja Turtles was mentioned.
You just saw a white hot flash and you forgot what you were gonna say.
Shredder is not fair. It's just people are gonna die. Your soul's gonna die. You're going up against Shredder, cool. I thought it was dope when I fought the Technodrome and I got in and it's like, oh cool, I'm finally in the Technodrome. There's no map. This place is huge. Oh dear God. I think I memorized things like maybe like a few months or whatnot. Like, okay, every enemy in here, it's Dark Souls quality hard. Okay, but I think I've triangulated where I am in the Technodrome. Okay, there's this really long hallway. These guys could kill me in one shot. I have to sidestep and move and hit as I'm going through the hallway. Oh God, there's more than one.
Sean.
Oh,
Sean.
pain.
Sean.
What?
Breathe. You're having I hate to say it, I think you have PTSD over this game. I seriously think you do.
That's why I just muted his mic for a second.
Oh man. Oh, poor guy. People, you know what? We love you for listening to the podcast. We really need you to watch this on YouTube. Please watch it on the YouTube.
Gotta losing it a little. He's so upset. And I think he poked out his eye.
Oh, this guy. Oh my God. I genuinely feel so bad for Sean right now. Oh my God. He's done. Oh man. Like his headphones are off. He's muted. Oh,
Sean, TMNT will not hurt you anymore, dude. It's over.
yes.
Okay.
It's done.
No, it won't because I ended it myself with my bare hands when
You threw it
13
away.
years old.
It could never hurt you again.
In a bloody rage. That's how I ended it.
Anyways, do you have a sequel? Do you have a sequel that you think is better than the first? Another one, rather.
Oh God. Okay, Ninja Gaiden 2. Fine. I this is off the top of my head.
Really?
Wait, the 8-bit or the okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay, I was like, are you talking about like the original Xbox run or?
That's a game that hurt me plenty.
You know, is that the one that's not doesn't look like the arcade, or is it the one that's because you know there's the NES.
It's the one that doesn't look like the arcade.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I never get into the one that didn't look the arcade because I like the arcade one so much.
You know what? Honestly, I didn't play that one.
Yeah, I played
Turtles has screwed me up in my brain. I went back to a really dark place in my life. You're gonna have to come back to me.
Okay, we're gonna give Sean a little bit of breathing room for the time being, you know, just so he can process these emotions that he thought he buried a long time ago. Way to go, Randy Kings! You broke our Sean Vander.
I mean, I don't let games bother me. I didn't think it would bug him as much.
Okay, so we've talked about games. Let's see, what's the time? We got about 15 minutes. We talked about games that the sequel did a lot better for, but there's also those titles where the sequel was actually a lot worse than what like the original one gave us. So we can riff off some of those. You know what? I started this one. How about Randy? Do you have one off the top of your head?
That's the
Where the sequel came out and the sequel was worse than the predecessor.
I mean, no, I feel bad saying that it's worse, but it's a game that I didn't like because it's such a far departure from the original, and it's one of those things where why don't you just keep the formula the same? There's actually two I have in my mind, but the first one I mention is Legend of Zelda 2.
Oh.
Was it Link's Adventure?
Yes.
It's not a bad game per se, but it's definitely it's different than the original one where
compared to what we got.
It's one of those things where the original game, you only have the worldview, your character, you control the character, you have these attacks, that's how it is. And then they kind of changed it up they changed it up a lot in Link's Adventure, where where you travel around on this overworld view, I guess you call it, and then he goes into another screen and then becomes a side scroller, or side scroll platform, and that's how you played it. And it was so different than the original that maybe it is good. I never wanted to try and look back at it, but it's one of the things I played through so much of it, and I go, I'm just not enjoying this as much as the first game. It's not great to me. And I guess a lot of people felt that way because they never really went back to that route. They stuck with the original gameplay style for so long.
Sean, are you doing better now, buddy?
Halo 2.
Oh, as far as better than the predecessor?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Halo 2, no, that's actually a good call right there. Like, Halo 1 was a lot of fun, but then when Part 2 came out, it expanded definitely, yeah. We got to play as the Arbiter, and from time to time, depending on how much time we let it recharge, we can go into stealth mode.
That's the one where they introduced the dual wielding, and you can change the which weapon you have in each, or which handgun you can have in each hand. That's a good mechanic.
My only complaint, and I think they fixed it in Halo 3, but my only complaint about Halo 2 was that in Halo 1, the Magnum had a small scope to it. It wasn't the greatest, but it was a pretty cool scope. And in Part 2, they got rid of it.
Yeah, it's like they had a weapon that's like, okay, here's a really good quality of it. We're totally not going to give you that in the second one.
Yeah. Well, because I think it made it so that it was overpowered. Like, you had a Magnum that shredded through shields and health, and it had a scope to it.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculously powerful. We're going to have to take something away, and they got rid of the scope, unfortunately. I was like, no!
Yeah. No, that was fine. It's still pretty... It kills. If you can knock down shields and then hit dude like twice with the Magnum, you're fine. You can't.
Yeah, but that was the thing. Like, for that one, at that point, you had to be in close combat, whereas before you can be like at medium range, so you can still use the Magnum, which again was what made it kind of overpowered. It's just like a close to medium range that can kill you with 2 shots when you have no shields.
Yeah.
Like, we've got to pull back a little bit on something here. So bye scope, crack. Here's the gun back. Oh, yeah, good call. Halo 2. Do you have one off the top of your head, Sean, or do you need a minute for this, where the original title came out and then the sequel was worse than the original?
My heart hurts. But Mega Man 2.
Oh.
I love this OST. Like, my heart hurts. I'm sorry. I'm like, is it...
Please explain.
All right.
Explain.
Mega Man 2. I mean, it's essentially almost the same as Mega Man 1, except with like different weapons. I love the soundtrack. The bosses are fun. Wily's fun. Getting up there. I mean, if you've ever played a Mega Man game,
Shoot Man,
especially around there, Shoot Man. Yeah, it's the same. It's almost the same with just different weapons, different levels. For me, I just love the soundtracks of those old school games, and Mega Man 2's got a great soundtrack.
So why is it to you worse than Mega Man 1?
I'm still flashbacking to the fight with Shredder. It's not. I can't. Oh,
buddy.
That doesn't answer the question.
Do you need to lay down?
I might after this. Yeah.
Okay, so why is Mega Man 2 worse than Mega Man 1?
Mega Man 2 is not worse than Mega Man 1.
That's what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about. We're talking about titles that where the sequel was worse.
Okay, so you
So okay. First off, thank you for the title that was better, because that almost scared me a little bit. I was like, how is Mega Man 2 worse than Mega Man 1? That can't be right.
I was not hearing you. I was just hearing
Flashbacking still.
I was just hearing the low life meter sound that happens in the original Ninja Turtles. And just hit him, and I'm like, God, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? He's coming.
Sean, you die.
No.
Breathe,
No.
Sean. Breathe. It can't hurt you anymore. It's gone.
I have 4 turtles. I can't lose Donatello.
He's got range.
He does have range.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll tell you what. We'll give Sean a minute to think about it as far as a worst title. I know off the top of my head which one it was, and it's funny how I figured it out. Devil May Cry 2. Devil May Cry 2. I guess because a lot of people may have complained that Devil May Cry 1 was very difficult, that when Part 2 came out, they dubbed it down a bit and made it simple to the point where it's just like you don't really want to do anything. We got to see a character development in Dante compared to Part 1 that was just, we didn't want the dark and brooding character. We had already gotten an idea of what Dante was supposed to be. And then we got this new one and was just like, no, we don't like this. Like, we don't like the dark brooder who doesn't say very much. I do like the coin flip of the double-sided coin, so he always does the right thing no matter what. I thought that was a nice little feature, but everything else to him was just bleh. I like the idea. I think what they were trying to do is that they were trying to expand the universe because they had a second character, and god damn it, Sean, I hate you because your hair looks so much better than mine. My hair like fluffs and curls, and yours just like goes down really simple. Like, you son of a bitch. Oh, fuck you, Randy. I hate you both.
For those who are listening to the audio version of this podcast, we thank you for tuning in. It is great of you to do that. But what's happening right now is
E-Man's getting salty.
Randy King's showing off their long hair to Emmanuel, and he can't grow long hair for some reason. I don't.
Oh no. Okay, let me rephrase. I can. It just doesn't come out looking like that. Please check out the YouTube channel and you'll see what I'm talking about. I hate you both, you sons of bitches.
Hair flip.
Yeah. Going back to it.
There you go, Sean.
I hated, all you had to do in the game, honestly, is just walk away and shoot. Like there was no incentive to actually go in there with any of your melee weapons like swords or anything. You just take whatever gun you had, the pistols or the little daggers for I can't remember her name, and just walk away and just keep throwing them. You avoided all danger. That's how you can beat the game. Even on the hardest difficulty mode, you can do that. And it robbed people of what you needed to do in Devil May Cry 1. Where you actually have to go in there, like that's not an alternative. Like the guns
wall
should be
running
used for
sucked.
The guns were mainly for smaller enemies and only did damage to bosses when you were in your transform state, which made sense because you were supposed to be a bit more powerful. That was really cool. That was a cool factor to it. And then to take that away and give us Devil May Cry 2 was just like, oh no, I don't like that. No. So for my pick, from going worse than the predecessor, Devil May Cry 2.
Good choice. That's a good one. One thing I will say, though, that I did like was actually the character design, at least how it's supposed to look. It's like, oh, they actually took a chance on some of these looks, and I thought it looked awesome. Unfortunately, the game was ridiculously easy. It was it's not, like you said, it's not as rewarding to play.
Yeah. Sean, did you come up with a title that was worse than the predecessor?
I can't think of anything that's worse right now.
Okay.
Like, I want to go to a happy place.
Fair enough. Damn it, Randy Kings, you broke our bander.
Yeah. I mean, hey, man.
You know what's fucked, though?
Because
I couldn't beat Turtles, and I got to a point where I was like, screw this. I just bought a Game Genie. I gave up, and I was like, you know what? F this. like math,
Oh.
this, and I got a Game Genie, and I put that mofo in, and I put the I don't lose life code, and I got all the way to Shredder. I went through all of the levels, got all the way through the Technodrome, all the way to Shredder. I didn't lose any life. Getting down that death hallway, the minute I get to Shredder, he does his one hit kill and fucking kills my turtle. And I'm like, this is
Even with the Game Genie?
agony.
Even with the Game Genie.
With my own money, that my own 90s chore boy, little boy money to get a Game Genie, and I was robbed. So to beat that game, and I was just like, why did I buy a Game Genie? And then I just took the Game Genie out and did it myself. It was pain.
Well, it got you to where you needed to go.
And if anything else, you became a stronger gamer because of it.
I would suppose I did, but man, that's flashbacks. Oh, God damn it.
Oh,
Why are we going on to bad sequels again? Why are we doing that?
Because
Why-
it's both sided. It's like
I can think of a bunch of games that are like the sequel's better than the original, like right now, but I can't think of one that is worse
all right.
than the original
You know what? Then
right now.
give us another one where the sequel was better than the first.
Well, now because I'm in this retro 8-bit mood because of pain, I'm just gonna go Double Dragon 2, Mega Man 2. Damn, I like Mario 2.
Actually, I was just about to ask you that.
I like Mario 2
because Randy does not, apparently. When he sent me the text message for this topic, he said where the sequel was worse, and he said Mario 2 was worse than Mario 1. So now I'm kind of curious because we have both sides of the argument. So we'll go ahead and we'll let Randy King start on this one right now. Randy, why is part 2 worse than part 1 in this case?
It goes to the same thing of how Legend of Zelda is the original. Why I like the original over the sequel that they made. It's because it's such a far departure from the original game where, you were not really running through all this. It's a lot slower paced game. It is cool that they added new characters and there was a newer storyline, but I'm also bummed that I'm not fighting I'm not going anywhere original. And it's funny enough is because Super Mario Bros. 2 here in America is actually not the second game. In actuality, in Japan, they actually have they released it on Super Nintendo as part of the Super Mario Brothers
All-Stars.
All-Stars? Yeah, it's called All-Stars, where you got they called it the Lost Levels, which was very similar to the original and everything. And I'm like, oh, that's what they got in Japan. I'm like, why didn't we get that here? The Mario we got, Mario Bros. 2 in the United States, is actually Mario and Dreamland, and it was a
Doki Doki Panic, wasn't it?
Something like that. It's oh, it's not meant to be. It wasn't. It was just them trying to, I guess, shoehorn a sequel here.
Well, funny enough, and we'll go to Sean in just a second, but just so that we can clarify what happened. Apparently, when they made Mario Brothers 2 for the NES in Japan, a lot of gamers complained that Mario 2 was exponentially more difficult than Mario Brothers 1. And in order to make sure that the American audience still purchased a lot of Mario Brothers 2, they're like, well, we can't do this. If it's too hard, they're not going to want to play anymore. So they did what they could at that point, which was take Doki Doki Panic and reskin it to where it was the Mario Brothers and Toad and Peach, which is actually how Peach ended up getting her unique ability of being able to float. It kind of carried over into other titles.
The only thing that makes me weirded out by that is because they released them, I played the Lost Levels and beat it. I'm like, it's not hard. I mean, it's fun. It's challenging.
I found it more difficult. I found it way more difficult.
I mean, and also it's the idea that shouldn't it be shouldn't there be a level of challenge after the first game?
I mean, I guess they thought enough to the point where they were like, it's too much. You're right. Progression is a great thing, and if it becomes more difficult, but you're able to go past it, then yeah. But when it comes to the point where it becomes frustrating, I kind of see that point. Sean, why do you like Mario? Why do you think Mario Brothers 2 was the better sequel to Mario Brothers 1?
For all the same reasons Randy said that he doesn't like it, because it's a departure, because it was so different, because it was so difficult, and that's honestly why. And it was, I mean, I dug the idea of it. I'm like, man, Mario Brothers change, it's crazy. I don't know how I'm able to dig through the ground by throwing sand up in the air, but cool. All right, I'm down. And then like throwing potions on the ground to open doors. I mean, I was like, yeah. And like, where's coins? Oh, you can get coins doing this. And it was really cool, man. And I like picking up enemies and throwing them at other enemies. It was fun. It was real
Guys,
fun, and I dug it.
we're just
And
about done for the podcast, but there
I've
was
been done 5 minutes ago.
but this actually leads to one more question, and it's actually more directed towards Sean because of how he answered the question.
Okay.
When it went from Mario 2 to Mario Brothers 3, and it went back to more of the original formula, just with a whole bunch of upgrades and add-ons, what did you think about that?
That was fine too. I dug it. This is Mario 3. How do you not like Mario 3?
One of the best titles, but like the way you were explaining it, where they made a huge departure, and then in part 3 they kind of went back to the original formula, just with more bells and whistles. I was kind of curious as to what you thought about it after that.
On paper, I shouldn't like Mario 2. On paper. But I remember having so much fun playing it. And I don't know if that's anything to do with Doki Doki Panic or what Mario 2 is, but yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind playing more Doki Doki Panic, to be honest, if there was a sequel to that.
Right
but
on.
I doubt it. So, I mean, if there was, I would have heard about it. And if there is, I want to play it. I'll LP the fuck out of that. I'm so upset.
I think we should call it so that we can give Sean some time to recover.
I need a shower, a sandwich, and music, something to lighten the mood.
We're just gonna send videos to Sean's page about the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles NES game.
I beat it.
Wow.
I'm never gonna do it ever again.
Wow, Randy Kings, you are.
I talked over Randy King, so I didn't hear a word he said.
He said that he was just going to post a bunch of those on
No.
social media,
Oh wait,
like of TMNT one.
Or I could just send cartridges. I'm like, here, dude. Here you go. This game can't be expensive. Here you go.
It really can't.
$1 game.
All right, Sean, you already posted up yours.
I can do final. I can do final moments. It's fine.
you put your Twitch out there already, so
I can
please
do it again.
final
All right.
words then.
So I'm going to be, as we're recording this podcast right now, it's a Saturday. So I seem to be streaming Saturdays a lot easier now, and that's good. I think that might be my schedule. I tried to do other days, but it's just Saturday seems to be the easiest day for me to do this, especially with what everything is going on. And it's been my butt kicking on Soul Calibur, but I am getting better. So, yeah, on Vander978 at twitch.tv, you can see my friends murder my face off with Soul Calibur. And yeah, I am getting better. So if you want to see the hilarity of that and you see how animated I am on this podcast, you can totally see a whole bunch of it on when people are beating me up in Soul Calibur. So yeah.
Sounds so sad when you're saying that one part. See, yeah,
because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Randy. That's why. I don't get salty on Soul Calibur beatdowns.
That is not true. I've seen you get really salty over that.
On Soul Calibur?
A little bit, but I recover.
Okay.
A little bit I recover. But at the final end last week, I was like, now I'm salty. Now we have to stop. But that was like after hours of playing.
All right.
Yeah, check me out on Vander978 at twitch.tv.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Randy?
I mean, be cool out there. If there's charities that or even restaurants that people are really into that are doing services, like they're offering food, delivery, whatnot, please try and support them, because once this is all over and we notice that everything's said and done, we're going to need these places to go back to get into the comfort that we once had, to get some closeness to it. And if there's any, like I said, charities or any groups or for anything out there that you think that you might support, just go out and support it. Even if it's just $1, it's perfectly okay.
Word.
Or a share button. Yeah, just share it.
Okay.
All right. Guys, thanks so much for doing the podcast. Sean, I hope you get better.
I'll be fine.
Honestly, right now, you look a little bit like Rob Zombie.
I'll be fine.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. The beard and the long hair, very Rob Zombie-ish.
Cool.
But you
I
know
like
what?
Rob Zombie.
People who are listening, you be the judge. You let us know. For Sean Vander, Randy Kings, I am the stubborn SOB, Vitamin E Man, a.k.a. Emmanuel, reminding you that in these times of chaos, be kind. Thank you very much for listening, ladies and gentlemen.